Welcome to Massoudi's Foundation, everybody. Today, as you know, these days, cancer is a generic term for a large group of diseases. And it's really important matter in the world that can affect any part of the body. And other terms that are used are malignant tumors or neoplasm. One defining feature of cancer is rapid creation of abnormal cells that grows beyond their usual boundaries. And also, as you know, cancer is leading causes of death worldwide, according for nearly 10 million deaths in 2020, which is a really huge amount. Today, we have dear Dr. Massoudi here. Hello, how are you doing?
Good afternoon, Dr. Assefi. I'm doing well. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you. Dear doctor, we have so many questions that our audiences has asked. One of them is because of the emergence of cancer detection blood tests and their role in diagnosis and treatment of solid organ tumors. They are asking that what is a liquid biopsy?
This is a very exciting developing topic and area of scientific breakthrough, Dr. Assefi. And broadly speaking, cancers that affect the human body can be divided into solid organ cancers, such as breast cancer, brain cancer, prostate cancer, and they can also be classified into hematological cancers, such as lymphoma and leukemia, various forms of leukemia. With regards to the diagnosis and treatment and tracking of tumor response to various treatments, when it comes to solid organ tumors, the traditional methods of diagnosis and tumor behavior tracking have been CAT scans and MRIs, magnetic resonance imaging, PET scans, and direct biopsy, needle biopsy of the tumor. Now, in the last few years, there have been a number of amazing scientific breakthroughs when it comes to detection, isolation, and culturing of cancer cells in vitro in the laboratory. These techniques can be really summarized and referred to as immunocytochemical assays that can detect and identify cancer cells based on their genetic makeup, their messenger RNA footprint, and a host of other very much DNA-specific profiling characteristics of the tumor. There are a number of companies in the world that are pioneering this. One of the companies that has been founded in India and is growing a very large footprint throughout the world is Datar Genetics, DATAR. This company is so fascinating, and the technology is so advanced that I believe they're going to be a major contributor and going to be a pioneer in this field of blood test detection of tumors, solid organ tumors. This has been referred to as liquid biopsies as opposed to needle biopsies, where we directly insert a needle into the tumor and aspirate a tissue and then look at it under the microscope and do different studies, histological studies, staining of the tumor cells to identify what kind of tumor it is. Through this amazing and transformational technology that's been developed, we are now able to simply extract some blood and detect any presence of cancer cells through a series of culture assays. It takes about a week or two to get the results back, but this form of testing is so sensitive and specific that it can really detect the presence of the tumor when it's stage 0 or otherwise undiagnosed. It can detect recurrence of the tumor after initial treatment, and it can track the efficacy of any particular treatment that we give our patients for the cancers they have. Okay. It's called liquid biopsy, and it's an amazing technology and scientific breakthrough that is going to bring a lot more clarity to our oncological care of our patients.
Wow, that is really great. And the other, one of the important questions that our audiences has asked about, what are the potential application of liquid biopsies in the diagnosis of treatment of tumors?
Well, the implications for tumor diagnosis and tumor treatment and identifying, for instance, what kind of chemotherapeutic agents the tumors are sensitive to are astounding and quite transformational. But the same kind of immunocytochemical assays that can identify the genetic markers on tumor cells can also be used in the future to identify the propensity for the development of neurodegenerative disorders of the brain, such as Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. So long before patients become clinically symptomatic, there is a future ahead of us in which we can actually apply the same technologies through blood tests and assays to detect the development and emergence of Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease and other neurodegenerative disorders in the brain, and therefore be able to proactively intervene in the future with various different medications, vaccines, and DNA targeted therapy to preempt against the fulminant and clinical development of Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and other neurodegenerative disorders of the brain. So that's one really exciting potential future application of the same technology that we are now referring to as liquid biopsies.
Oh, great. Awesome. And do you think that will liquid biopsies replace the more traditional methods of tumor diagnosis and treatment?
Excellent question. I think in the short run, it will not. The liquid biopsies will be an adjunct and at times a confirmatory test that we would run along having our patients go through traditional diagnostic studies such as PET CT scan, CAT scan, and MRIs for the initial diagnosis. But as we gain more clinical experience with liquid biopsies, and as this technology becomes adopted more universally in a more widespread fashion throughout our clinical practices, I can envision a situation in the next 5 to 10 years where liquid biopsies would be almost exclusively used to track the response of tumors to various chemotherapeutic agents, as well as a potential recurrence of the tumor before it becomes clinically symptomatic. So the long-term treatment of cancer patients may very well be hugely improved and really transformed because of liquid biopsies. Dr. Assefi, just to give you an example, recent studies that are going to be published very shortly have demonstrated that liquid biopsies, this cancer genetic blood screening, can detect brain tumors of glial origin, astrocytomas, otherwise known as gliomas, with 100% specificity and 100% sensitivity. And as a neurosurgeon, as somebody who's treated a lot of patients with brain tumors, knowing the challenges that one faces, this is hugely advantageous for diagnosis and treatment response tracking of patients with brain tumors in the future.
That is really great technique. And what are some of the future application of this class of blood tests in medicine?
We briefly alluded to it. The early detection of neurodegenerative disorders would be a significant breakthrough for us. And it doesn't take a huge leap in imagination that with proper extension and application of these immunocytochemical techniques, we can detect early markers of development of Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, and intervene and treat patients at risk of the development of these diseases in the future more effectively, more proactively, and earlier on in the course of the treatment, in the course of the development of the disease and its progression.
That is really great. Dear Dr. Massoudi, thank you so much for your participation and great knowledge that you gave us. Thank you, really appreciate. And everybody, please stay with us. We have so many great science programs and also interview with experts. So stay with us.
Thank you, Dr. Assefi.